Hello, it's Lou Collins, and today I'm going to be playing with the cascading gatefold card template that's downloadable on CraftStash. So you can see in the post that this video is attached to, hopefully, that you can download this to your computer, print it out at home as many times as you like, and then get crafting with it. So what you're actually going to need is one of the first sheet, at least one of the second sheet. Now you're actually going to be cutting two of these, so if it's easier for you, I would say print this out twice, or you can reuse this template a second time. So entirely up to you, whichever way you prefer to work. So what I'm going to use is some cardstock, and I would suggest that it's not single-sided, so it's a solid core cardstock that's the same colour on both sides, because this cascading element is going to fold back and forth, so you're going to see both the reverse and the front. So I'm going to adhere these templates to my cardstock and get cutting these panels out. So I've got my three pieces cut out. I also just need to do the tab in a moment. Now the first piece, this rectangle, is going to be the wrap around your card. This is going to keep everything intact. So that's your main card base. So just pull those two wings as such inwards. And then these pieces, we have a tab on the longer edge, which you'll want to fold in, and then, or out, it's entirely up to you. And then we're just going to concertina fold the rest of these, like so. Now, which way you do this really depends on which way you want your folds to go. Now, personally, because we've got the tab, I'm going to be folding mine so that the shorter end meets in the middle. That means that this long tab needs to go backwards to fit that just there. Okay, so with this one, I'm going to have the tab going outwards and then concertina fold it the opposite way to the one I just did. That brings that last tab back in. So when I put the two together, like so, so just sit it like that there. So I'll glue that there with those tabs. This will concertina fold, and we'll put a tab on the front there to bring these two smaller pieces together. So hopefully you can see how this is going to go. Now, so what we need to do first of all is think about, are you going to decorate these? So I've got some patterned paper, and this is from one of Helen Griffin's Simply Made Crafts papers, and I'm going to use this patterned paper plus a couple of others because it works. We've got the green in there here as well. It works with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place patterned paper on these rectangles, and I'm going to place pattern paper on any of the panels that are facing forward. So that's 1, 2 on this side, and then that will be the same 1, 2 on this side. Oh, 3, sorry, because we've got the smaller one at the front, but I'm also going to be putting something decorative on the front too. So use your templates if you need to. If you've still got these, you can use these to cut your mats and layers with, and let's get the mats and layers cut for these pieces before we move on. So now all my mats and layers are cut out, or certainly some of the ones. I may do some more later, but let's see how these go. We can start constructing the card. So I'm going to use a wet glue first of all, and I'm going to use this on the tab there. Now we've already folded these, we've already placed them on our card just to ensure that they fit where we want them to fit and that the folds are all in the right direction. And then just apply a little bit of wet glue, and I do prefer to use wet glue for this because it's a tab. It's going to have a lot of movement, it's going to be played with a lot, so you do need to make sure that the end result is as sticky as possible and strong hold, I suppose strong is the word. So just placing that along there, and then the same with the opposite one. So don't forget the other side needs to be folded in the opposite direction. And there's nothing wrong with folding it one way, seeing if it fits, and if it doesn't, of course, then just folding it back the other way. And they should both sit side by side exactly. There we go. Perfect, so you've got a nice neat finish. Now I've got my mats for the front pieces of this. I want to keep some of the green, quite a bit of the green visible, because it's a lovely fresh colour, and this is very much going to be a summery card. It's actually, as I film this, it's snowing outside at the moment, but you know, summer hopefully is just around the corner. We said spring was around the corner last week, or spring was here, and that's all gone wrong today. So hopefully summer really is on its way. It shouldn't be too much longer now. So you can see how they just fit on there perfectly, and then the same with the next layer. So just a little bit of wet glue on these. Open this up. Is that one? That's this one. And pop that on. Can you see by using that double-sided cardstock, but single core, solid core cardstock, that I've got that green, the same green running throughout. I haven't had to worry about what the other colour is on the other side and will it coordinate or will it show. So just popping this one in as well. We've got a nice green border around the edge of these mats and layers. It's easier to put these mats and layers on while the card is constructed, because then you can see where you're adding them, rather than trying to add them on before, and then once you put it together you realise you've actually added your layers onto the wrong side. Now I've also got a panel for each of these wings on the side, and I'm not going to be decorating the front of the card, but you can of course go ahead and do that as well in a similar sort of theme. Put your embellishments on there if you want to. You can put a belly band on there as well, just to hold everything together. Maybe you want to put a clasp or a strap with a little bit of Velcro or something like that on there. But what we need to do now is ensure that these two pieces remain as they are. So when this stands up, that stays just there. And that's what this panel is for. So this is included in your template. So I've cut this from the same colour cardstock as the card base. I'm just going to put glue all over that. You can pop it on roughly half. In fact, let's go long ways because that will give it more stability. And then just butt that right up against the same one, and there, squeeze that. Now everything should lay down flat. These should fold in, and like I say, let's just adjust some of my folding ever so slightly, because I've got a little bit of an overlap there on that edge. So I'm just going to refold that so it's not hanging over the edge, and I need to re-glue my tab because playing with that I just took that away. Extra glue. So make sure you hold it while it's drying. Don't allow it to pop up because then you have to re-glue it. There we go. Okay, so this side, they should all fold in and then open it up. Now that stands up, as you can see, and you've got a really pretty shape there. So that's your cascading kind of waterfall effect. Isn't that lovely? Cascading concertina, whatever you want to call it. Now all we need to do is add some elements in here. Now I'm going to take this sheet, like I say, from Helen Griffin's beautiful pattern papers. These are from the brand of Simply Made Crafts. I'm going to cut lots of these elements out and then apply them to my card. So I've cut lots of elements out, or I've actually cut 3 elements out, but I could cut a lot more if I wanted to. I've folded this cluster of flowers in half because that's going to sit just inside the centre at the top here, and there is going to be a score line through the middle. So I've just done that so I can place those flowers so that they kind of overlap the top, and that way they can still lift up with the movement of the card. They don't have to sit flat. And then I've got this happy banner. These colours and these images really do make me feel happy. Don't forget, you won't be able to overlap the edges of these simply because you won't be able to then close your card if you do. And then I've also got a flower. I'm sticking everything down quite flat, which you'll also need to do because, again, you won't be able to close it if you don't. So there we go. There's a couple of flowers and the sentiment there. So that opens up. Now that in itself, when you close it and then open it, is a wow factor card because it all bounces out. You could add lots more to that if you wanted to, have things springing out. But it stands on its own, as you can see, and it's just a really fun card to make with lots of bounce. And go ahead and of course decorate the front panels as well if you want to. Create yourself a wrap maybe to go round it, but you can download the basic template of course from Craft World.